Where's it go? What kind of coffee is it?
This is the breakfast blend.
Lovely.
Yeah.
You might have to show me how to use the coffee thing. I have no idea how to use those.
You know, we do have an idea of how to use them.
What?
This podcast.
Hey! We got the microphone. We got us.
It's like, does
What
one
else do you
use a podcast, I suppose?
How to make a podcast? How to make a coffee? How to make a podcast? We're just gonna jump right into it today.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we're just gonna hear me rant and it's gonna be like forever long. So, Tony gets to go first.
Oh, okay.
So I was trying to pick which one of you should go.
So I will say what I'm entertained by lately.
What are you entertained by lately?
Well, despite the fact that it is not October, it is in fact April. I'm still in a spooky mood, so I just finished reading Carrie by Stephen King. Yesterday, yeah. I spent all last week. I could not put it down. It was that kind of obsessive reading thing where if I wasn't doing something that I had to do, I had to have that book in my hand so that I could keep reading. And it's not a very long book. It's 300 pages. And it flies. And it's really... I really like... Because I've enjoyed... Ever since the Brian De Palma movie that I watched when I was 19, which, by the way, I don't think I'm going to enjoy as much now that I've read the book, because I started that movie last night just to be like, all right, let me... watch all the Carrie adaptations, of which there are 3. The 4th one we don't talk about. It's Carrie 2, which is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
The Revenge.
Yeah, there's a sequel, which is really dumb, because in all of the adaptations, just like in the book, Carrie dies at the end. So, like, okay.
How can we do this?
Because they wanted to make money, and it didn't. It tanked, as of course it would.
It should have.
Yeah, but anyway, long story short, the movie starts... I'm going to just put it this way to make this podcast friendly. The introduction shot of the film could have been filmed by Hugh Hefner. I'm not joking.
I mean, this is Brian De Palma we're talking about. He's rather salacious.
Is he? Okay, because I've not... that's the only one I've ever experienced. That's the only movie that I know of that I've experienced from him. And I don't remember that from when I watched it at 19, but I'm watching this opening sequence and I'm like, you took what... the logistics of the book. The book opens with Carrie getting her period for the first time. She's 16 years old, and then all of the other girls pick on her because that's what you do with Carrie. And Carrie has no idea, like, she thinks she's bleeding to death because she's that sheltered. That sequence, which is horrifying in the book, even if you are not someone who's ever had that experience, so I can only imagine someone who has, being rather horrified by it, is played out like the opening sequence of anything shot by Hugh Hefner. And you're just going, sir, they're teenagers, or they're adults playing teenagers, and you are a grown man filming this. This is weird. All of that is to say, the book does not have that kind of silliness going on. It's really good. I think everyone should read it. Yeah, I do. I think everyone should read it. I've moved on to Salem's Lot, which I started this morning, and I'm enjoying it so far. It is,
We watched a little bit of that in high school for one of my classes.
Salem's Lot, really? Mm-hmm. I've never seen anything around it. I just know the plot is what if Dracula came to Maine in the 70s.
Which, I mean, that's the majority of Stephen King's books anyway.
Yeah, like
if blank happened in Maine?
Yeah, exactly.
Go.
Yeah,
Easy.
like I heard that he described it. There was a video I was watching where he described it as he was thinking about the 3 Billy Goats Gruff, which, like, any writer in the world goes, I was thinking about this old fairy tale, and he's like, and I started thinking, that's a really good story, but can't be a troll. That's not going to work.
I'm trying to think how it relates to the story of it.
Well, because there's the troll under the bridge and the trip, trap, and that's what he was thinking about. And then he thought, well, what if it was something hiding under the sewer grate? And of course it had to be a homicidal clown. And so, that's where that kind of spun off. And I thought, that's a really interesting kind of concept. But anyway, I'm reading Mr. King right now until I feel like I don't want to anymore, and that's going to be a while. Because literally, though, as I was reading Carrie, I was like, I could read about 50 more books from this guy. And I thought, wait, I literally can read about 50 more books from that guy, because he just doesn't stop, and I love that.
It's crazy how usually, like, most authors have a ramping up, but Carrie was his first book, and it was a big success pretty much right out the gate, right?
Yeah, like, I think the hardcover sales did not do extremely well. Like, they were just kind of middling, but the paperback, when they sold the paperback rights, it just went gonzo. And in between the book and the movie coming out, Salem's Lot came out, and that just sort of cemented him even more. And so it kind of... And it was also just luck, right? There was a lot of luck involved in the sense that The Exorcist had happened in 1973, which was the year before Carrie got published. Mm-hmm. So all of the publishers were like, we need horror. We need it right now. We need it freaky. We need it weird. And then Carrie, this guy named Steve King, sends in the manuscript to Carrie, and they're like, actually, and, but... The fact that he followed it up year after year after year with, like, several novels, and in fact, like, he became Richard Bachman because the publishers were not saying it, but they were trying not to say, like, my guy, if there are 2 Stephen King novels every single year, we're terrified because what if you stop? Or what if the market bloats and people stop caring about buying Stephen King books because there's so many of them. So he was like, oh, cool. Well, here's a book that doesn't feel like me at all. It's called Richard, and it'll be by this guy named Richard Bachman. And it wasn't until, like, the 80s with, like, I think It was coming out, or it was around that time, and people, some bookseller was like, or a librarian was like, so I feel like Richard Bachman keeps stealing all of your ideas, Stephen King, because they keep showing up in his books, and they don't seem all that different from... I think you're being ripped off. And he's like, well, just kidding.
Just kidding.
So, yeah, anyway. And then I started playing over the weekend, very slowly, Alan Wake.
Okay.
Yay.
Which is, you take the standard plot of a Stephen King writer goes to a mansion and gets haunted, and make it a video game.
Fair.
That's the plot to Alan Wake. I've never played it before, but N.K. Jemisin literally said that every writer who wants to write should be playing the Alan Wake games.
It's very
good. Yeah.
It's one of my favorites.
So far, I'm enjoying it, but I have to play in short bursts because I get scared. Because it's a little scary. I don't like things that jump at you and then attack you with axes. And things jump at you and attack you with axes in this game. So,
it happens in the tutorial, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, it does, in fact, yeah. So I'm taking it a little bit at a time. A little bit at a time. It's fun. I'm just looking forward to getting a hotspot so I can download Crimson Desert. But we'll talk about that next time. Grant!
Yes!
What are you being entertained by? You have to mention that movie we just watched.
Anatomy of a Fall?
Yeah!
Yes, that was very good. Very twisty, kind of murder mystery courtroom drama.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I want to say...
/ family drama?
Yeah, it's kind of a mixture.
Yeah.
But very, very compelling. Very ambiguous at points, which I feel like some people could be annoyed by, but it just makes it all the richer to me. It takes place in France, kind of in this isolated... I mean, it starts off in France in this isolated house where this husband and wife live with their son. Something happens to the husband, Just look at the title of the movie.
He is mysterious. He is found mysteriously dead.
Yes.
And there is head trauma that the autopsy reveals isn't accidental by their estimation. And that sort of spirals
And there's
out.
only one person at the house at the time. And this is where the mystery begins. And I mean, it deals... it's a courtroom movie that deals a lot with the idea of interpretation, of evidence or of, people in general. And, you liked it, right?
I really liked it. I think it's one of those movies that it uses the genres that it's sort of playing with to twist the psychological knife, you know, how it's testing the audience's perception of different characters based on the information that you discover as you go along, and how that information rises to the surface is part of the courtroom effect. Like, you're using the courtroom drama to really bring things to the light that may or may not really actually appear in a real court, you know, for this kind of thing. Frankly, I think the whole thing would have been dismissed out of hand, and you would have no movie. But then you would have no movie, and the whole point of it is to sort of is to test that theory, to say, okay, but what if this did go to court, and you know, what if there was all this stuff happening that that would not have ever been revealed, possibly, except because there is a court case. Yeah, you know, and I think that those kinds of stories can be done really well. And I think this one was definitely done really well.
No, I agree. Definitely glad I watched it.
It's on Netflix if you'd like to watch it.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
I mean, all the performances are great.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of the lead actress. She's German, I found.
Oh, okay. I know that her character is also German.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's German in real life as well.
Nice.
But she's great.
Yeah. It's the most androgynous movie I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Every character. The men have these like really sly bone features they all have long hair, but they also, and the ones who don't have long hair just look like butch lesbians. So it's just like, what is this cast? Like, literally the kids, the adults, no matter what age, no matter what their affiliations are with each other, they're all like very androgynous looking, and it's like, it's really exciting actually to watch it that way, because you're just like, another one. So, you know,
Sandra Hüller. That's her name, and I forgot she's also in The Zone of Interest, which is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah,
I still need to see
she's
that.
Great. Yes.
So what else are you entertained by?
Well, we watched The Drama, which I don't believe we've talked about on the podcast yet.
No, I don't think we have.
Another really, really solid movie.
Another drama.
Well, kind of. It's a dark comedy of sorts.
I think that's the best description of it.
It's a fair way to categorize it.
Because it is rather funny.
Yes. It is one of those rare modern dark comedies that aren't afraid to actually push buttons and make you genuinely uncomfortable at points.
That's because that's the point of it. It wouldn't really work if it was just kind of like, oh, just kidding. Like, it really is meant to sort of like twist the knife. I really like that.
It follows Robert Pattinson and Zendaya. You know, they there's the two characters meet just kind of by happenstance, and they end up getting engaged and everything. And over a drunken night, a dark secret is revealed.
A few days before the wedding.
Yes. And that kind of sets everything off.
Yeah, it does.
And turns what everybody was expecting to be a happy, smooth process into a much more complicated one.
It's very good. And when you have two actors as good as Pattinson and Zendaya, you can do anything. And honestly, I've said this, I have not seen Euphoria yet, so people who have seen Euphoria, calm down. It is my favorite Zendaya performance, period. And that's having seen Challengers. I'm obsessed with Challengers, and I think she's excellent in Challengers. But I think the drama, there's some subtleties in her performance in the drama that are Saoirse Ronan-like.
It's a good comparison.
Yeah, I think the two of them really fit in the same sphere as far as I'm concerned, but I think there are people who feel like Florence Pugh is in the same category, and you watch something like The Drama and you're like, yeah, Florence Pugh could never. I think Florence Pugh is talented, don't get me wrong, but subtlety is not her game.
No.
It can be.
Maybe I need to see the right thing.
It depends on the film. I think she's really good in Midsommar.
She did pretty good in Little Women,
I need to watch Midsommar.
I haven't seen Little Women, but I hear
I liked Little Women. I thought she was fine, but that's just me. I mean,
as a youngest child, she did very well.
Yeah, no, I think she committed to what the role was, but and this may be a plebeian thing to say, but my favorite performance of that one was Emma Watson, actually. Yeah, I didn't expect her, because she can be touch and go, actually, and I was surprised. I was like, oh, she's good in this, which is maybe not a nice thing to think. Did you have something else?
I can mention like one more movie I watched. This one may interest you just because you're vaguely into Arthurian legend and stuff.
Yeah.
So this one is Lancelot of the Lake. It came out in 1974. It's a very unusual take on A, the medieval film in general, and B, Arthurian legend.
Yeah.
It takes place immediately after the knight's quest to go get the the Holy Grail. Which doesn't work out very well, and most of them die.
That sounds like a Holy Grail plot.
Yes,
to me.
Indiana
Jones.
Yeah. And then Lancelot returns, to the castle with Arthur, and what's his wife's name? I can't remember. Guinevere, whom he is having an affair with, and that's a whole thing.
That's just canon.
And it's really not a plot-focused movie.
Okay.
It's directed by this guy named Robert Bresson, who I've tried to get into multiple times.
Yeah.
And I've read quite a bit about him since my first attempt. And I won't say I completely 100% vibe with his style. But when it works, it really works.
Yeah.
I don't know. He had a very specific aesthetic style. He referred to his actors as models. He instructed them to. There's no I'm not exaggerating. There's no emotion, emotive anything on their face. A lot of the times he'll focus on their bodies or their hands, to the point where they just really feel like they're objects among other objects.
Yeah, almost like a rolling photo shoot.
Yes. And he would also instruct them to speak as if they're monologuing to themselves rather than speaking to other people.
Oh, it's like watching that one Romeo and Juliet adaptation from the 60s with Olivia, whatever her name is.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
It's very similar. It's shot in that same kind of style, but it's Shakespeare, so there's no... I don't know if it's how intentional it is, but there's no emotion whatsoever while they're reciting these extremely emotionally charged lines, and you're just like, well, she's pretty, which I think is what you're supposed to think.
And that mixed with just his, just the way it's shot and everything. Other people have mentioned it. It feels like everything is preordained almost. It's just one thing leads to another. He focuses a lot on rhythm of images and sound, to the point it's almost hypnotic. And the lack of music, kind of adds to that. So if you let yourself be taken in by it, it's very interesting, and it's a lot more contemplative than you would imagine, an Arthur tale would be.
I could see that working for Arthur too, because Arthuriana has been around for so long that any attempt at it feels predestined anyway, unless you just decide to do what they did with the Charlie Hunnam movie, which is why I like that movie so much, where they're like, we don't care what you think about Arthur, we're just going to do what we want. And you're like, sure. Sure. There are people who hate that movie. Everybody hates that movie but me. But I just was like, this is fun. Which I don't usually think when I watch Arthur movies, but yeah.
But whereas the last one of his that I've seen kind of left me feeling a little bit cold, I think just because of his style, I think it worked out in this one.
Yeah.
And plus, as you know, I love medieval stuff in general, so that was kind of a pull for me. Nothing quite like it in that.
Oh, that's nice.
In that area. So
yeah.
Nice. Erin.
Hey. I just want to mention one last thing,
yes.
super quick, because I forgot, and I love this movie, and I'm going to watch it again. Horns, based off of the Joe Hill novel, starring Daniel Radcliffe. So good, so good, so good. Much better than I thought it was going to be. Basic plot: guy wakes up. Guy has been accused of killing his girlfriend by his hometown because he was the last person to see her alive, as far as everybody knows, and they got into an argument. He wakes up one morning with what he believes is a monstrous hangover, and when he goes to the bathroom and looks at himself in the mirror, 2 literal devil horns are protruding out of his temples.
That's kind of
and every person he encounters starts just confessing their darkest desires, their most sinful desires to him, and the longer the horns get, then the more people just start committing their most sinful desires or dark desires or hidden desires. And all I'm going to say is it's wonderful. but I never knew that I needed gay cops who are like cop partners, but also want to be more than cop partners, who are affected by the horns. Mm-hmm. Never knew I needed that, but I'm happy I got it. So there's that. Cool. I just want to make that quick note. Erin!
So what's entertaining me actually has to do with the topic of this episode.
Which would be...
so it's my birthday episode, so I decided that we're going to talk about Final Fantasy, but specifically Final Fantasy X.
Okay, when is your birthday, just so that we all know?
This Sunday.
Yay! Happy birthday!
Yay! Anyways, so I'm playing Final Fantasy X. Woo! And I'm going to kind of not really give you much of an overview. I'm just going to give you a slight overview to let you have some context into exactly what I'm about to just kind of drop.
Yes.
So, context for this game, which you don't learn about until way later on, so I'm dropping the lore bomb on you now, unfortunately. So, spoiler alert if you haven't played this game, but it's been out since 2001, so, like, where have you been?
Also, it's a video game. Come on, people.
What a great year.
Yeah.
Oh. Well.
Anyways, so spoiler alert time, but 1,000 years ago, in the world of the game, not literally, but 1,000 years ago,
1001.
This world called Spira is where they are all living. Is in this world. 1,000 years ago in Spira, there was like an abundance of technology, but they call technology machina. But there was an abundance of it. Like it was like it was like our version of an industrial revolution, but their version was with the machina instead.
Was it kind of like Final Fantasy VII, like high tech?
No.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely not.
All right.
Well, I mean, kind of, but not in the same way. Okay. Definitely different kinds of technology going on here. But there are two big powers at play here. Because, there's these big cities and they like to, fight each other. Because,
that's what big cities do.
So, we have Bavel, which Bavel is kind of like the big Machina city. It's the more technologically advanced city. And then you have Zanarkand, which is also just as technologically advanced, but they have a summoner, they have a group of summoners who focus more on magic. And they're fighting each other. They are in, deadlock of a war with each other, right? And so the leader of Zanarkand, Yevon, realizes, oh, we're about to lose. They're going to wipe us clean from this map. Oh, crap. Because Machina is more powerful than magic, but Yevon is a very powerful summoner, and so he gets together and in the destruction of Zanarkand takes all of the survivors left over and turns them into these things called Faith, which are these little glowing tadpoles that kind of go everywhere when somebody dies.
Oh.
And he turns some of them into what's called Aeons, which are summons. And then he turns around and takes all of the power left over from this giant summon that he's going to do, and he creates this thing called Sin. And Sin is the kind of a hidden protector for this dream Zanarkand that he makes. And this dream world that he makes is all of the people who just died in Zanarkand are there, and so they just continue living on as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
So he's technically protecting his people, but in actuality, all of them died 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And Sin he uses as a form of control and retribution against the rest of Spira to stop them all from using Machina. So he basically destroys any group of people that congregate a lot together and creates a bunch of Machina put together. And so he uses it as a form of punishment on all of the rest of the people of Spira for destroying his town. Now, that's a key point here. His daughter, who survives, everything that's going on, along with, a few other people from Zanarkand, she realizes what's going on and goes to the people of Bavel, who's, the leadership, and is I know how to stop this. I will teach you how to stop this, but my father is immortal, and he's going to be continuing this for the rest of time. If you can keep this whole entire thing a secret as to how he did this and what happened, I will teach you how to create the final Aeon to destroy him and give you at least 10 years of peace. And then every 10 years you need to make a summoner to sacrifice themselves as the Aeon to create the new version of Sin because my father regenerates every 10 years. So that's your context. The game actually follows Titus. You can call him Titus too, because technically in Japanese it's Titus, not Titus.
He's in Kingdom Hearts, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, he's a side character, though. But the reason he's called Titus is because his name is supposed to be, like, the sun in Japanese. And then Yuna, who's the other main character, who's the woman character, is supposed to be the moon.
I see.
They're supposed to be kind of like a circular of each other.
Sure, yeah.
And it actually makes sense when you see them next to each other because he's, like, his main color is yellow and he is super tan. And then she is super pale and, like, darker hair.
Yeah.
And so it's, like, right there in front of your face. But Titus, because I'm going to call him that forever, is a part of Dream Xanarkand. He's a part of Dream Xanarkand, and all of a sudden has wound up in Spira, and he's like, what the actual heck? And this guy who was helping him out and raising him as a child was the one who brought him there. He's brought into this pilgrimage with this girl named Yuna, who her father was the previous High Summoner who just previously, like 10 years before, defeated Sin, and now we're doing this over again. She's going on a pilgrimage to do the exact same thing. And Titus is supposed to be there to help break the cycle.
Okay.
Because his father is the actual final Aeon who turned into the current version of Sin, who was also brought over from Dream Xanarkand at some point.
Okay.
So Titus's father, Jet, was brought over to regular Spira from Dream Xanarkand.
Gotcha.
Joins Braska and Orin, who are the two characters who... Orin is the one that helps Titus, like, grow up. They all go together to defeat Sin. Jet becomes the final Aeon to become the next Sin. And Orin and Jet kind of do this thing where they're like, yeah, we need to finish this once and for all. Like, this can't be a cycle that continues. Go get my son, and we're going to try this again. Goes and gets Titus, drags him over, and Titus has to do this all over again.
Okay.
Meanwhile, all of the clergy know about this entire thing the entire time because they created a religion in Yu Yevin's name, who's the leader of the entire group.
Interesting. Okay.
And then there's this creep named Seymour who keeps trying to marry Yuna, and so he stalks her throughout the entire game for a little bit, and then decides he's going to marry her, and then you have to fight him, like, twice because he decides he can't not be with Yuna, and so you have to fight him twice.
Oh.
Seymour is an appropriately creepy name.
I need to find a picture of this guy. You would understand as soon as you look at him.
Suddenly. Well, actually, Seymour is not creepy in Little Shop of Horrors.
Is that the Rick Moranis character?
I've never seen the movie.
Neither have I. But
Creepy indeed.
It's a little creepy.
Creepy indeed.
Yeah.
So the really interesting part about this game in general is it's an entire thing about deconstructing religions, but it's also about control and breaking free of control.
Sure. Well, yeah. That's,
so, like, the entire game, you're playing as Titus, who's kind of like this side character who's been thrusted into this because he's 17. He has no clue what he's doing over here. He thinks he's traveled forward in time by 1,000 years because everybody is telling him that Xanarkand was destroyed 1,000 years ago. So he thinks he time traveled. He did not time travel. He's been a dream the entire time, being summoned by Yu Yevon. So he's basically not real. But he doesn't realize this until, like, later on. That's, like, a whole other issue.
Yeah.
And so he's been thrust into this, and he's all of a sudden just going on this pilgrimage, and Orin is trying to push him along in the pilgrimage to help out. Because Yuna Leska, who is the daughter of Yu Yevon, who... her name is quite literally Yuna Leska. Hello, Yuna. There's, like, a little connection there.
Yeah.
She teaches people how to get the final Aeon. One of your guardians becomes the final Aeon that you use in the fight to defeat Sin. And then that final Aeon gets possessed by Yu Yevon and becomes Sin in 10 years. So he possesses whoever's the final Aeon, and this has been happening for 1,000 years.
Oh.
But everybody else in the world of Spira thinks that sin is a punishment for their sins and using Machina.
Okay.
Because that's what the religion of Yu Yevon has been pushing upon people, that it's everybody's fault. So they basically push, like, Catholic guilt onto, like, everybody.
For 1,000 years, yeah.
For 1,000 years.
Which does work, in fact.
It actually works very well, because at one point there's this group called the Crusaders, and the Crusaders are these people who, like, think that they can beat sin without the religion of Yu Yevon or the Summoners, and try to use Machina to defeat sin. And it almost works. Mm-hmm. Almost works. Does not actually fully work because sin beats them, but decimates everybody in this operation except for, like, a select few of people. Mm. And then the religious clergy who are there turn around and guilt trips everybody who now has PTSD from this whole entire thing to come back into the church.
So, how does this... Are you Titus the whole game?
Yes.
Okay.
Titus
so you're sort of following him through all of this.
So the thing about Final Fantasy that you need to know about, like, how just the games in general works, because all of them kind of have a similar format. You have your main character. Mm-hmm. So in Final Fantasy VII, that'd be like Cloud.
Sure.
Or something like that. But you have your main character. He's the guy that you follow around the most. Mm-hmm. But when you're going into battles and such, you get a party of people and they can all fight. And you're controlling all of them in those moments.
And that's that turn-based thing, right?
That is turn-based combat.
Okay.
Which, honestly, I love so wholeheartedly, even more than open-world combat, because it's very entertaining.
I see. I've never played a turn-based
this
game,
one is, honestly,
so that's why I'm always like, what does that mean?
So Final Fantasy X does turn-based a lot. It holds up a lot better in modern day. Like, if you want an interesting version of turn-based combat, you play Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
So they released, about 10 years after Final Fantasy X came out, they released the remastered version, but they lost some of the source material, and so that's why, some of the models just really suck in that one. But what they do in the game is you get your 3 people who are fighting, and then you press, like, one of the bumper buttons, and then you can just rotate people in and out constantly.
Oh, I see.
And so it kind of works like Pokemon.
Which is actually the only turn-based game that I ever played.
So you know how when you're
playing...
playing...
it was the first one.
You know how when you're playing Pokemon...
I was
whatever Pokemon that
7.
whatever Pokemon that you're using is the only one that gets the EXP.
Yes.
And you have to use multiple Pokemon to actually get EXP for everybody during, like, multi-Pokemon fights.
Yes.
It is the same kind of concept with Final Fantasy X. So you start with 3 people in your party who are fighting. And every single time one of them attacks, they get a certain amount of EXP points. Mm-hmm. And so if you rotate everybody in, it takes whatever overall EXP that would go with whoever's fighting.
Right.
So if I only use 3 people and I get like 1,000 EXP at the very end, that's going to split that up into thirds for whoever's in that battle.
Yeah.
But if I use 4 people, it'll split it up into fourths, split it up into thirds. There's like 6 people overall who can be in your party at any time.
Okay.
But there's also technically a job system that's attached to this. There's a grid system. So every single character has a different strength. Mm-hmm. So Titus is your swords hack and slash kind of guy. Mm-hmm. He has a sword. Technically, if you go by the lore, he's never used a weapon before a day in his life up until he gets the sword.
Right.
Because he's been a blitzball player and living in this dream world this entire time under, like, not really luxury, but he's lived under this paradise of no fiends up until this point.
Sure.
Fiends are the monsters, by the way.
That's a good name for monsters, I think.
Actually, how fiends come to be is also a really interesting point. But he's like your hack and slash guy, and then you have Waka. Waka is also like a physical battle guy, but he fights with a blitzball, which is one of the mini games in the game, by the way. Mm-hmm. But he has a blitzball. And so he is really good against the flying enemies because he can just throw the ball at them.
So he's sort of a ranged person. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then we have these, like, elemental things or, like, monsters who are more susceptible to elements as opposed to physical attacks.
Sure.
And then we have Lulu. Lulu is a black mage. She's the one that goes through with all the fire, water, thunder, and blizzard.
Ah, okay.
And she goes ham on them. Then you have Orin, and technically there's another character, Kamari, who can do the same thing. And they are your samurai-style characters where they work on piercing damage. And so they have monsters that have, like, hardened shells. They're the best against those type of monsters.
Sure, okay.
Kamari's a little bit unique, though, because he's kind of like your utility guy. He can go kind of any direction. Because he's called what we call a red mage. No, blue mage. Where he can absorb the powers from people or from monsters and use that as magic for other things.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
And then you have Yuna, who's your white mage. So she's the one that's always going to be summoning the monster, summoning the Aeons, or she's the white mage, so she does all the healing. So she's your healer.
Gotcha. She's the moon person, right? Okay.
She's your secondary main character on purpose because all the Final Fantasies are a love story in some way, shape, or form. After a certain point, yes.
Is there anything gameplay-wise that separates Final Fantasy X explicitly from it, like any of the other surrounding Final Fantasy games, or is it pretty in lock with the rest of them?
Well, Final Fantasy X is the one that introduces the rotation aspect of your characters, where you can rotate them in at any point.
Okay.
Final Fantasy VII, you cannot do that. You also cannot do that in Final Fantasy VIII or IX. 8 is a little bit unique in the sense that half of your party gets split up at one point, so you have to choose who goes to which party, and then that's how you decide on who's going which route. At one point in Final Fantasy VIII, Final Fantasy X, you are with that group the entire time. Final Fantasy X is also unique in the fact that it is the first of the Final Fantasy games to get a sequel, which is Final Fantasy X-2.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And that's because a bunch of people were actually pissed off at the very end. Because, like I said before, after a certain point, most of the Final Fantasy games, I think it's like after like 5, a majority of the games have a romance aspect in it.
Okay.
In Final Fantasy VII, that romance aspect is kind of muddled by the fact that Cloud has PTSD and thinks he's another character the entire game. But, like, depending on how you go with Final Fantasy VII, you either ship him with Aerith, who, like, dies, like, halfway through, or you ship him with Tifa, who is technically his canonical, like, endgame person. In Final Fantasy VIII, it's Squall and Rinoa, and it's kind of, like, very clear that this is going to be a romance between the two of them, because he has to follow her as a knight to her sorceress energy. It's like a whole entire thing.
Oh, sure.
And then in Final Fantasy IX, it's Zidane and Garnet, which is like a whole other thing that I don't play that one as often, even though it is one of my favorites. But their storyline is kind of like muddled by the fact that she's running away, and then she's also like the only way that they can stop something. But in Final Fantasy X, romance is like prevalent because Tidus, over time as he's going through, falls in love with Yuna. Yuna, in response, also falls in love with Tidus. But Yuna knows that she has to sacrifice herself. Nobody tells Tidus this till like mid-Act 2, so he has no clue that this is supposed to be something that happens, right?
Yeah.
So he's going through this entire game going, yeah, when we defeat Sin, we can go do this. And so he is trying to make plans to show Yuna all these different things so that they can go do things together. And she's just entertaining him at this point by going like, yeah, sure.
Whoa.
Not in a negative way, but she doesn't want him to get rid of the positivity because he's kind of like the little like happy-go-lucky guy of the group.
Sure. Yeah.
And so the entire time he's going through thinking, well, my dad is Sin because his father is the one that becomes Sin next. So he's like, my dad is this. Crap. I need to figure out a way to defeat him. And he doesn't realize that the way to defeat Sin normally is summoners have to create the final Aeon and go through all that stuff and sacrifice themselves. Yeah. He doesn't know anything about this.
Yeah.
The game, which is a romance, turns into a tragedy. Because he's not real. He's a dream.
Right.
Because he's from Dream Zanarkand. When you beat the game, there was nothing left to summon Titus to the world. He's no longer real. Well, he's not been real the entire time, but he doesn't realize this until close to the end.
Yeah.
So he has to disappear because there's nothing holding him to the world.
I see.
Cue the peace sign guy, the meme where he disappears slowly in the background.
No, quite literally, he goes and jumps off of the airship into the sky and just disappears.
Oh.
But Yuna's distraught and devastated about this whole entire thing because she thought, because now he's keeping the secret from her at this point, because this entire time she was keeping the secret that she was supposed to be dying from him.
Yeah.
And then once he realizes the way to defeat Yu Yevon is to do something else, he goes on with the plan and gets everybody on board with this plan, but does not tell anybody that the only way that this is going to work at the very end, he does not live. So she's going through all this at the very end thinking, oh, we'll get through this all. She thinks he's from the past. That he will stay in Spira with her and it'll be a happy ending. No. It is like one of the saddest endings. Because then immediately after she has to go give a speech to the rest of Spira while she's crying about this guy.
Yeah.
So it's unique in the fact that after that, everybody was so peeved off at this ending because they wanted the happy ending between the two of them that they created a sequel. But the really funny part about the sequel is there are 3 endings. And depending on how you go through the game, depends on which ending you get.
That's...
So if you go through that,
choice.
so the story behind Final Fantasy X-2 is that Yuna, it's been about 3 years, so now she's 19.
Yeah.
But it's been about 3 years since the end of Final Fantasy X. And Riku, who's one of the other characters, is also Yuna's cousin, because I didn't get to mention her yet. Riku has become a spear hunter, or a treasure hunter, basically, and she goes and finds spears for people in inaccessible locations as they're trying to rediscover all the stuff about Machina that they did not know before.
Yeah.
So they are very slowly coming back to the Industrial Revolution of themselves. She finds this spear, and this spear has this guy in it who looks exactly like Titus. This is on purpose. And he's yelling about the summoner, and this is from 1,000 years ago. And so they're thinking, wait, what if he really did exist 1,000 years ago? Which is a lot, but...
Sure.
So there's this guy named Shuyin, and his summoner, Len, who... an amount of years ago, she was also one of the summoners. And during this entire battle with Bavel, he doesn't want her to sacrifice herself, and so he tries to do a nuclear option and go get this very, very advanced Machina that is technically an AI and is sentient and has their own, like, way of doing things. And he wants to go enact it. To basically destroy the entire world, because if you're going to get rid of my woman, I'm going to get rid of the rest of you. So he goes off and does all of this, and his spirit is still left over, like, in the world, trying to enact this little, it's called Vegnagun.
Okay.
Like, he's trying to enact this. Meanwhile, the spear hunters, so Riku and Yuna, have been taking the spears. And there's a new technology where they have this, like, little, like, cutesy little, like, compact, kind of like a la Sailor Moon, where they turn into magical girls, where they use each spear as a different job class.
Oh, sure.
And you pick your job class. And one of the job classes that Yuna has is Songstress. And the spear that she's using for the Songstress spear is his girlfriend.
Okay.
So he thinks that Yuna is his girlfriend.
Okay.
So she has to go through this whole entire thing trying to figure out as if Shuyin is really Titus or not. While he's sitting there thinking that she's Len, comes back as a ghost and possesses, like, multiple people to try to enact Vegnagun because he thinks it's all happening all over again. So you have to go stop him. And if you go through the game in a certain way, complete all the mini games, watch all the things, you get the good ending where basically Titus gets to come back.
Ah.
and then, happily ever after.
Yeah.
But if you just go through the game like normal and you don't do a lot of the extra things and you're just following the storyline, she basically at the end comes to terms with the fact that he's not coming back, and then she goes on her own. So there's multiple endings on how you can get there.
Okay.
And so it's a very interesting concept.
That's kind of fun that the developers were like, sure, we'll make you another game since you all want to spend money on it, but we'll make you work for it.
Yeah, so if you...
I actually kind of appreciate. That's a nice sense of humor between game developers and the people who are going to buy the game.
And honestly, that mechanic, I think, is like the dress spear mechanic. They've never really brought it back, but it's one of the most interesting battle mechanics I've ever seen in my entire life. You only get the 3 girls that you fight with the entire time. So how they do it is they each get a dress spear, like, garment grid, and then you can go through the grid and pick which one out of the grid that you pick for your job, and you can change mid-battle.
Oh, that's kind of nice.
And it gives you, like, a really fun little, like, Sailor Moon, like, they get to change their outfit moment, which is really cute and girly. Cool. It's really fun.
I like that.
And you get to see a lot of the characters that you saw. So it's very interesting on that front. Yes.
Yeah.
So just for my brief overview of the Final Fantasy series, it seems around, like, the time of Final Fantasy X, the art style became rather homogenous. More standardized. Do you have an opinion on that? And does the fan base at large have an opinion on that? No?
They actually think that... So one of the things that whenever I recommend Final Fantasy X to people is that if you need to start at a good point in Final Fantasy and you've never played a Final Fantasy game before, Final Fantasy X is one of the better games to start with.
Sure.
Because the graphics of the game, even if you're just playing the PS2 version versus the HD remastered version, if you're playing that one, the graphics still hold up to current standards.
Okay, yeah.
At the time, Final Fantasy X was kind of like a turning point in Square Enix's style of how they did things. Because that is when they finally got their own art style.
Like in general, not just with the Final Fantasy franchise? Yes. Okay.
Because you will see if you play the rest of the Final Fantasy games after that, or watch their movies, or even play the current one. The CMV, the FMV, like the little cinematic movies that they do, that art style stays in the Final Fantasy universe up until today.
Okay.
They utilize not the same engine, obviously, because obviously you got to change the engine per whatever system you're using.
Yeah.
But that art style, they finally come into their own because it is so well loved.
Oh, okay. So people tend to they prefer that.
No, they don't mind the art style at all.
Okay.
Like, because that art style is kind of like iconic. And it is very telling that it is a Final Fantasy game if that art style is being used.
I see.
It's kind of like how in Dragon Quest a very similar art style is being used in every single Dragon Quest game. Either the cinematics or the art packaging or whatever, it all has that exact same art style.
Well, yes, because they hired Toriyama.
Right, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah.
It's all very like synonymous with like that.
With if you're going to do a Dragon Quest game, it has to have that. Yeah.
It's the same thing with the Final Fantasy games. If you're going to have any type of art style whatsoever, it all needs to look like that.
Okay.
And you can actually kind of see it in Kingdom Hearts. Because they use that same art style. Because Square Enix and Disney got together to make that game. So while all the Disney characters look like Disney characters, all of the human characters look like Final Fantasy characters. Including Sora. Like, all of the Final Fantasy characters look exactly the same.
I see. Okay.
And it's not really like a same face syndrome issue. None of us really mind it because we understand that is the art style of the guy who created the entire thing.
I see.
I will say, though, if you like metal music, you would really love the opening scene to Final Fantasy X.
Okay.
Oh.
They do this song called Overworld, and even when they did the remastered audio tracks, they never got rid of that track.
Oh, that's cool.
They gave it the OG track because it is just one of those where you're just listening to it and you're just like,
Nice.
It's one of my favorite games. It's actually one of the first ones that I ever finished.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So the first game I ever finished in my entire life was Legend of Mana.
Okay.
But Final Fantasy X was the first Final Fantasy game I ever did to completion.
Oh, cool.
And that's just because I was old enough to play the game.
Yeah.
But my brother was the one who was playing it originally when I watched it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of those games that, like, I think it holds up well.
Yeah.
And people who want to, like, have their brain just, like, screwed around with while they're playing a game storyline-wise should play that game.
Oh, fun.
There's also a crap ton of mini-games. Like, right now I'm playing Blitzball. And you technically...
So what is Blitzball? 'Cause that's come up a few times.
Blitzball is like a handball. But
it's kind of like a volleyball kind of thing?
No, but done in a sphere of water. It's like a mix between rugby, volleyball, and soccer all in one.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, like Rocket League?
Yeah.
No.
Like the game with the cars that it's like soccer, but they're playing with cars?
No.
So, Grant does, but there's like these, like the triangular, like goals or whatever on either side.
Mm-hmm.
Blitzball has the same thing, and you're in a giant sphere of water, and you're playing up against, you have your midfielder, your left field, your right field, your left defender, your right defender, and your goalie. So it's basically like a soccer format.
So are you floating?
Yeah, you're swimming.
Now, can you go up, down?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you're like in the sphere, like the
They are
so
in the
whole,
sphere.
So it's not just a sphere that's like made of water around you. That's just an air pocket. It's like the actual water.
It's like the opera scene in Revenge of the Sith where they have the big water spheres with the Mon Calamari swimming.
Yeah.
That was a picture of this.
A really bizarre choice.
So this is a Blitzball stadium.
Okay.
This is a Blitzball stadium.
Oh, that's fun.
It is in a giant thing of water,
Oh,
and
I like
so
that.
your goal is to go and score on the other side. So it's kind of like a mix between you have your soccer formats, but you can hold the ball and then you can throw it in there, you can kick it in there, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
As long as you get it in there.
Yeah.
And so the thing is, when you first play the game, Titus is originally a Blitzball player, like his father before him. So they have that in common. It's like a whole entire thing. When you come to Spira, they all think that Titus has been like in contact with Sin, and people who come in contact with Sin, the toxin makes them have amnesia. So they all just think Titus has amnesia and has no clue who he is for like the first maybe few areas of the game. And so they think that if they take him to this Blitzball tournament, because he really knows how to play Blitzball, but if they take him there to the tournament, he's going to know somebody's going to know him, and they could take him off their hands. Because they don't want him in the group, but he just kind of strong arms his way in there anyways. But they think that he'll get taken off their hands. So you go do the Blitzball, and technically the first game is the hardest one you're ever going to play in your entire life, that tournament. Technically you can win. It's not impossible. But you can technically lose. Most of the time you will lose, but if you take the ball after you score for the first time and you go hide behind the goalie in the goal, everybody turns around in circles because the AI for 2001 is absolutely terrible, but it's really funny and they all just turn into circles. But after that, every single time you play Blitzball is completely optional. You can recruit people into your team, you can pay them salaries, you can do that.
Oh, wow.
And technically it's all optional. Unless you want to get Waka's ultimate weapon. If you want to get Waka's ultimate weapon, you have to complete at least 24 to 40 games.
Oh, wow.
To be able to get a certain sigil that belongs to him.
Yeah.
That you can take into the woods later on and make into his ultimate weapon.
Oh, that's fun.
So that's a thing. So you got to be able to get to that point.
Sure.
But I'm having a ton of fun with it because I accidentally made a really fun little dream team. And so I've been running around like an absolute nightmare playing this game and getting completely all wins. All wins the entire time. There's also mini games where there's 10 spears, which are movie spears, in Spira that belong to Titus's dad, Jet, that shows kind of the lore of everything that Jet went through while he was there. He was kind of chronologizing his journey as he changed, so he could finally tell his son that he loved him because he thought he was going to live, but it turns out he already knew he was going to die. But it was a whole entire thing. And so you can go find the spears in the world. And then there's also super bosses, which are secret bosses that you can fight. And so you can go fight all of the Aeons as secret bosses and beat them. But they are so stupidly overpowered, it's ridiculous that you really need the ultimate weapons to be able to get there. You can also do summoner battles where you find a random summoner on the side of the road and you can fight them with your summon against their summon and beat them for extra stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
There's also like a butterfly catching game. It's a very fun world, and then when you play 10 too, there's all of like even more that you can do.
Oh, that's cool.
I will say the most interesting part about the game, because I know I have 4 minutes left, is the fact that it is about deconstruction of like control or biases or ideas. Case in point, there's a group of people in the world called the Albed, and they really, really focus on technology. They live out in the desert. They basically like go on excavations and dig, and they don't believe in the religion. And a lot of people have biases against them because of the fact that they don't follow the religion, including one of your characters, Waka, the entire time. Like, every single time he talks about the Albed, he's just like, let me spit on the ground, like, I hate these people, blah, 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 blah. Turns out Yuna's half Albed, and he has absolutely no idea until, like, halfway through the game. And then there's Riku, who is full Albed, and her cousin, and she's in the group, and he has no idea up until a certain point. But he basically kind of starts deconstructing and coming to terms with the fact that, like, he's been fed all of this stuff by the Yu Yevon religion that puts him against these people, and they are not actually that bad.
Right.
And so he kind of deconstructs and comes to terms with his own biases, which was really nice. Which is something, it's a storyline that you can see going through the entire game, and it's really cool.
Oh, nice.
I could do a whole entire, like, 10-hour PowerPoint on this game, to be honest. You'd be like, Jesus Christ. Do you have any other questions?
I don't think so, but I do own the game, so
Yeah, you need to play the game.
So I'm just gonna...
You need to play this game.
It's one of the ones I've been waiting to download.
Like, I'm not even kidding. I need you to play this game.
Somebody needs to return their hotspot.
They will.
Because I need
Today,
you.
tomorrow, or Wednesday.
I need you to play the game, and I need you to watch the scene where Yuna throws herself off of the side of the building.
Okay.
In the wedding. That is one of my favorite sequences in the entire planet.
Okay.
Because Seymour gets married to her, and then she thinks that all her friends are going to be safe, and then he takes one look at them and he goes, kill them.
Oh.
Absolutely no thoughts inside of his head. It's just, okay, bye. And then so she freaks out and then pushes him and then goes and jumps off.